Did I?
Yeah, we're live now.
Oh, shit.
All right, Matthew.
I guess we're live.
We'll wait for people to show up anyway. And yeah.
Is that okay? The framed up all right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it looks great. I mean, we're good. So let me just see here. I don't even know because I can't even see. Yeah, no one's on yet. So we'll just kind of wait till some people get on here. So who wants to jump in and talk too?
I'll say something.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'll get on so I can be one
Okay,
person.
there's a couple people here. Hey guys, how are you? Really happy to be able to do a live here from Sedona. And today I'm going to be talking about some synchronicities that have happened, which are really super cool. And I've got some really great friends here with me today, and some of them are going to jump on. We're going to talk about that. And I want to kind of introduce you to a really cool Sedona synchronicity. This is Matthew. Matthew, what's your last name?
My last name is Tucciarone. Tucciarone.
Oh, there you go. Love Italians. So we were having a really actually awesome walk to, actually, Lala, come on in, because you were part of this whole synchronicity. This is really funny.
I might have blueberries in my teeth, but that's all right.
Okay, so this is Lala, everyone. If you weren't watching Pink Patriot yesterday on Kate Awakening's YouTube channel, please go check it out. Lala is a singer and songwriter, and she's got some incredible music, and she's got an album, what, for Christmas?
I've got a Christmas album coming out, big band, all original. I wrote it all, but it sounds like a throwback to the 1940s. So if you like that Frank Sinatra style crooner music, you would love my big band album.
Yeah, and she was singing a lot of Patriot music last night, which is really cool.
I've got a viral video right now on Facebook and Instagram for a patriotic song I wrote. So you can go check that out.
Yeah.
My YouTube.
So, guys, so we're walking to the coffee store this morning. We're on our way there. There's a few of us. And you asked us all a question.
I did. So we're literally like in the parking lot about to walk into the coffee shop, which is called Synergy, by the way. And I was with Nicole and Kate of the Kate Awakening channel, and Tyler of Journey to Truth podcast, and I just asked them, I'm like, so have you guys ever been recognized outside of, you know, kind of the community? Like if you're just out walking around somewhere, has anyone ever come up to you and recognized you from your podcast or your YouTube channel? And I think, Nicole, you were the only one that actually had that
I had
experience,
someone come
right?
up to me and said they had heard my podcast. And so, which, you know, only happened once. And so we walk into Synergy Cafe and Matthew's there. And Kate was wearing her Make America Great hat on. And you came out. And so why don't you say what you...
So I came out and I recognized Kate for her bravery, especially in a town like Sedona. There's, you know, our truths here about our political beliefs right now are kind of more censored in this town than the rest of the state of Arizona. One being we are a blue state or a blue county and a blue town as well. So when Kate showed up at Synergy, just with her hat on, I was just like, one, I knew she wasn't local, I don't think so, which is great because it was awesome to finally see somebody from out of town coming into the space of Sedona, not being afraid and just being so brave. It's very brave to step out right now and to express ourselves because we've been censored. So I commend Kate for doing that.
Well, it's really interesting because right before we walked into the cafe, some guy started yelling from across the street. He got triggered by her wearing her MAGA hat, and he started like yelling at her.
Yeah, out a restaurant window.
Yeah, out of a restaurant window. And so so we walk in and you come over and you say that and you're like, "Yo, thank you for being so brave," and that's so awesome. And then Kate and I were ordering our coffee, and then Tyler, you went to go talk to him, right? Yeah, so
Tyler, you come in here.
Tyler goes, this is Tyler from Journey to Truth podcast, guys. Go check out his YouTube channel too.
What's up? You know who I am.
So Tyler goes over to Matthew because he's in the back, and he's on his computer, and he starts telling him about, like, you know, yeah, Kate's got a channel if you want to follow her on YouTube, and then you...
Well, what I did, yeah, because I was just thinking, I was looking at him, and I was like, well, I'm going to let him know about Kate's channel. If he, like, felt it important enough to come up and approach her. I was like, well, he should probably know she has a channel. And then I wrote down Kate's channel, our channel, and I wrote your name down. And when he saw your name, he recognized it. And then you just happened to walk up at that moment. And turned out he already watches your Enlighten Up podcast.
Well, yeah, so he goes, Nicole Frolick. He goes, not from the Enlighten Up podcast.
I know. I was like,
what? I
well,
don't
when he wrote down the name, I'm looking at it, and I think, Tyler, you noticed that I was like, and then you walked up, and then I was just like, that's from Enlighten Up podcast. Like, and I'm like doing this, and I'm like, is that Nicole Frolick from
By the way,
Enlighten Up?
somebody in the chat knows who you are.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, who?
Yeah.
Who?
Amrita?
Oh, hi, I'm Rita. I love you, sister.
So that was so funny. So you said you started listening to the podcast in March? April?
March, yeah. Digging a little bit deeper into what was going on. Obviously, we had a lot of time on our hands during March and April. And, you know, I started coming to the awoken part of my journey. Like, I was awoke spiritually, but then when I got to Florida in January, my mom actually started the truth stuff with me, little tiny doses. And throughout the pandemic, like, I found your channel, and Nicole, you put everything into perspective, like, very beautifully. So that's why I started following you, because your content's amazing, your energy's amazing. And so I started following Nicole, and I remember one of the last episodes I did watch on Enlighten Up, you mentioned manifestation.
Yeah.
And the difficulties with it, and how people struggle with manifestation. And when I got to Sedona, I finally learned what manifestation really is all about. And it does. It's practice. It takes a lot of hard work. And I thought about you one day when I was on the creek, and I said, I need to get her email address so I can email Nicole and tell her, like, the awesome magic behind manifestation. Because I know a lot of people on that episode, that was the topic, struggling with manifestation. Yeah. So, you know, I kept that in my head. I never ended up emailing you. And
because you were gonna meet me.
Obviously, here we are 3 months later after that meditation, and Nicole walks into Synergy.
I know. This is so wild.
It's
synergistic.
It's
very
so
synergistic.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you just kind of have been only recently going through your awakening then?
So I started going through my awakening in 2000. I want to say when my grandfather passed away in 2017. He was very dear to my heart. And he served this country very well. I started questioning death. And then once I started questioning death, a lot of the shakeup just started happening. I think it's because I started questioning, and I started reaching and wanting to know more, wanting to know more about God. I didn't understand God that much. And so, my huge shakeup, I would say, when I became aware of my awakening was in 2018, when I was let go from United Airlines, and there was a huge shakeup there.
Okay.
I was a former flight attendant, so
yeah. It's so interesting because when the really cool thing that he said when he saw us in Synergy, and he saw Kate's hat, and she was wearing a MAGA hat, and he said, it's not about red or blue, it's about dark and light. And right now we are literally fighting a spiritual war, and I think everyone here agrees the entire system is corrupt. The two-party system is a corrupt system. It's not about being on one side or the other. It's about fighting for what's right and what's good in this world, and fighting for what's going to benefit humanity. You're about to be doing some really good work for humanity.
I am about to do some amazing work for humanity, and the people involved right now. There's so much talent and skill sets behind all of these people, all of these light workers that are in this inner circle that I am forming here in Sedona. So yes, I'm about to do an amazing, amazing job at what I'm about to explain.
Yeah.
So, can I go for it?
Yeah, go for
All
it.
right.
Tell everyone, because this is really cool.
I've been stepping into my own and expressing myself politically. So I am here to say that I'm going to put an end to the corruption here at the local level in Sedona. And in 2022, I will be running for mayor, and I have the support right now to back that.
The light workers moving into politics.
And we need the light worker community to move into politics. Everybody loves to look at that big. So think of the political structure. It's a living, breathing organism, right? So we have that organism, that political structure, we have the federal level, then we have the states, then we have the local level. So if everyone keeps focusing on how we're going to fix this federal system, well, we're the United States. So we have to actually go within, just like when you're doing your shadow work, going within and fixing the problem instead of putting band-aids on the exterior. The federal government's the exterior. If you're going to infiltrate the government, where are you going to infiltrate? The cities, the towns and the cities. Literally, if we want to correct the corruption in this country and this world and set the example, we need to start at the local level.
One small
And
town.
absolutely, absolutely, we need to start at the local level. And I am here to end the corruption at the local level in Sedona, as it has been infiltrated by the deep state.
Yeah. Well, we were on a hike yesterday, and with Alexis and Jace, and they were telling us about well, the airport at the top. Do you know anything about the airport, or can
I
you
was
even
just
talk?
telling him about that, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Tyler was just explaining that to me. I haven't heard too much about the airport, but I would love to hear more about it. Obviously, the more information for me, the better I can serve this community here in Sedona.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about like the children and everything. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. When we talk about like corruption, a lot of it has to do with okay, I got to be careful about what words I use because they're really coming down on everyone. But let's just say, you know, tunnels, and what do we use tunnels for, and going underground, and there's a lot of that action, from what we understand, happening.
Yeah, I'll help you. So
Yeah.
and I can't explain it as well as Jace because he's actually researched this and he's had his eye on it. He's been paying attention to it and observing. So there's an airport near here that it's the only airport as far as he knows that doesn't have an air traffic control tower, but it's active. And there's a Masonic temple there, and he Google Earth the layout of it, and it's perfectly set up to be pulling off something like a human trafficking operation. And the energy there is, you know, once you step into your light, you become intuitive. You can just tell when something's off. He knows something's going on there, so he's been looking into that himself. So he thinks that why they're trying to move in and take over is because they have an operation that's being threatened right now. And there's a lot more to it, but that's basically the gist of what he was talking about with that airport.
Yeah. So you're gonna clean Sedona up.
Going to clean Sedona up. It's not going to be me. It's going to be the people behind this. The people are going to clean Sedona up.
Well, it's very common. I mean, we see it all the time where, let's just say, people with darker agendas come into these high energy vortex places like Sedona to use the energy in a reverse positive way. And you've been sensing that, you've been feeling like a lot of that energy coming in.
I've been sensing that energy coming in, the infiltration that's coming in, a lot of, you know, the fake light workers, the imposter syndrome, that's going on a lot here. And also too, you know, that they use these vortexes here. Pretty much essentially, you know, we're all magicians, and everybody has this capability. We all have it within us to be magicians and to create and to manifest and all of that. It depends on your intent, and the intent with the infiltration here is not of the heart, it's of the self. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, the infiltration goes deep into the light workers, our political structure here in Sedona. The current mayor right now, she actually decided to, she praises herself publicly on her public page, that she is so proud of the incorporation of Sedona that she brought. The incorporation. That's exactly what got us in trouble in this country in the first place, is we are now a corporation. And she was so proud of incorporating Sedona. Sedona doesn't want that. Lady Sedona herself, an educator, and you know, she's passed on obviously, but she was an educator. She doesn't want that here. The energies, it's not supposed to be a transient town. No one is supposed to settle in this town. Only those who really carry the light and do the work are supposed to be here. And therefore, you know, the energies right now, It's just we really have to protect this sacred land. We really have to protect this sacred land. We have to protect this sacred land.
Yep.
It's important not only to the locals, but to this world right now. And Sedona will set the stage in this decade to the new revamping of our political system.
Thank you. Sorry guys, the sun just came out and it's really hard for me to even open my eyes at this point. So, when we talk about the sacredness of the land, it's really important to understand the ability of what's happening here. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've heard a lot of information on the City of Lights being located here in Sedona, which is, I guess you could call it a 5D city, and that it is here. Do you have any awareness of that?
Yes, yes. As soon as I got here, the locals just were like, "This is going to be the light city. It's going to be the light city," and therefore that's why it's so important here in Sedona right now that we do clean up at the local level, because we're a community. We're not a city. We are going to be a light city, is what the light workers are saying, the locals here. But more so, let's take city out of it. We're a community, and there's neighboring communities like Cottonwood, and what did the tribes used to do back in the day? They used to form communities, and you know what? These communities only allowed people to come in, from other communities to come on in, as long as they were going to act a certain way and understand that community acts differently. They have different values. States have different values. That's why we have states, right? Each state has a different culture, a different way of doing things. And I think that's where the problems are coming in, is that it's like my way, no, my way, no, my way. Well, what if we just, do it your way, but how about when I come to your state, I actually adhere to your policies and your community guidelines and respect that. So that's why we have states. I'm sorry, I get so excited, Nicole, because that's what the states were created for. So we didn't have these problems until America became a corporation. What was it? 1871. And then 1913, the Federal Reserve System was put in place.
Was given away to the British, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that. And I love the idea of having like your own kind of, whatever it is, culture or practices that need to be respected. It's just like when I don't know what's happened where we feel that we need to be completely accommodating to everything here, where when I go to a country that I'm visiting, I know I'm a visitor and I'm respectful of their cultural practices and I want to engage in what they're doing. And I think we need to be mindful to not lose the identity of what those cultural practices have been here in America and any other country for that matter, because I feel like there's this melting pot that's trying to melt it all away, and that takes away a lot of the sacredness that is so important to the land.
100%. 100%.
So can I ask you a question?
Go for it.
How has it been for you as a Trump supporter?
I've been a Trump supporter since 2016. And I kind of flip-flopped between 2016 and 2020. One, I was working at United Airlines. When all those flight attendants found out that I was voting for Trump, I lost all my friends at work. People were writing nasty things on my wall, on my Facebook page. The company came after me, let's just put it that way. And it's been difficult. It's been really difficult. And it took a two-year battle with my former company, just because of and then I flip-flopped, obviously.
So did you do it under pressure then?
I did it under pressure, and that is why I'm here to tell you how the programming, why it's so important to get out of this program. Get out of it. Get out of it, because it almost consumed me. It made me change my political beliefs, it's disgusting, because
they tried to shame you out of it.
They tried to shame me out of it, exactly, Nicole. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that's kind of the hardest thing too. To me, it doesn't matter if you support Trump or you don't support Trump. It's how you go about holding your beliefs and how you interact with others who have differing beliefs. And I think we have to understand that if we want to maintain sovereignty, we have to allow for the sovereignty of thought and the sovereignty of our beliefs, and allow ourselves to discover that and express that in whatever way, capacity, or form that is for us. And I think it's a really sad place for us on a human level where we feel so compelled to shame people in a way where it affected your job, it affected your livelihood,
Absolutely did.
and your
Yep.
social abilities to have friends.
It closed off my throat chakra. This is honestly the first time that I'm able to be comfortable on camera again in the last couple years. So
No way, that's amazing.
and that's something that my mentor is working on with me too, is my throat chakra and everything like that. So just expressing yourself. Now I have no shame. I love it. I wear this out in Sedona all the time. My Trump wristband here, and I have my pin. And you know what? Now that I'm no longer feeling shameful of it, and I changed my attitude on like why I'm doing this and my drive behind it. And now 90% of the people react in a positive light to this. The 10%ers, transmute it. Go away. Just go away. You know what? And I'm kind of getting tired of it. To be honest, those 10%ers though, they're really nasty. They're nasty.
It is
Nicole.
really nasty.
And that's what hurts, is even though it's a small percentage, it's the nastiness.
Well, because it's pretty vile energy. It's pretty potent when it comes out. And I mean, we're all human at the end of the day. And I think that's what a lot of people forget. Especially, I mean, we have this online community and interaction, and people can just say whatever they want online. But when it comes, I feel like some of that's starting to transfer into human to human contact, where we're starting to forget that we're all human beings and that we all have feelings and that we all have hearts. And there's no reason why any of us should be treating anyone less than for whatever reason. I mean, unless you're harming another individual or doing something completely criminal, like, I don't think there's any reason why anyone should treat someone differently. And so it's just really cool that we had this little synchronicity.
Yeah.
What is your vision for the future? Like, when you look at this kind of great awakening that's happening for humanity, not just in the spiritual community, like, what is your hope? Like, what would you love to see happen in a sense of bringing people together?
Bringing people together. What I would like to see, in a sense, for moving forward into the future is bringing back, honestly, you know my honest opinion? I'm going to go with it. Bringing God back into the picture.
Yes!
Bringing God back into the picture. We are in biblical times right now, and I haven't been this close to God ever in my life. Creator, source, whatever you want to call it. Bringing God back into the picture. And to be honest, the separation of church and state, to be honest, we need spirituality and political practice. And so bringing that spiritual component and that God, creator, source component back into our political system. No more separation of church and state. That actually needs to be mind, body, and spirit. Synergy, right?
Yeah.
I would like to see God be brought back into the picture, a conscious community for our future, and community sharing. And nobody in Congress, they're supposed to be the people. The people hold the power over the president, right? Nobody in Congress should be getting paid. It should be a free job. Just like when I run for mayor, I am not going to take any tax dollars from any constituent of mine in this town.
I think it should be almost like a bonus situation where, like, depending on what you're doing and providing, like, you know, with just how it works in, for instance, a corporation, or, you know, your value is based off your productivity. What?
Something to add to that. Go ahead.
No, yeah, go ahead, say it.
Sorry, I just had to speak up. So somebody made a great point. I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about people getting paid in politics, and they don't really make much anyway. Like, you get like $250 a month for whatever it is, being a mayor, let's just say. So it's not a lot. But what happens is they're forced to have a 40-hour job to make a living and still be a mayor. But what happens is, say your streets need to be fixed, and this mayor runs a construction company, and so it becomes like a battle. Like, he doesn't want to fix the roads. Because he doesn't want that. He doesn't want the business being taken away from his business that he owns. So he turns down the bill. And basically, these people are protecting their own businesses and not doing anything about the city, is what this person's argument was. Because they all had to have a job on top of being in politics. You understand what I'm saying?
Too.
So they were neglecting the city out of fear of losing their business because I don't know. It was just something interesting to me.
Yeah, like I just feel like there's too many people in Congress right now making a lot of money for doing nothing at all. You know, like stalling everything out. Everyone's bought off and paid for, and the power literally needs to come back to the people.
Right.
It has to come back to the people. And if it's our tax dollars, you know, paying for all this stuff and funding, then we should have total say on how that's going to be put forth. So
I think you could say the opposite too of what Tyler was just saying.
Yeah, it's just one perspective, something to think about.
yeah,
That's all.
no, absolutely. Well, I don't think there's a clear-cut answer, but at the end of the day, there needs to be a cleaning of the swamp
Yeah, yeah.
and the corruption.
I agree 100% with
No more
everything.
career, right? No
Yeah.
more career politician.
Yeah,
No
career
more-
politics.
Yeah, term limits.
Term
on
limits, for
Term
sure.
limits. If the
Yes.
president has term limits, so does the Congress.
So does Nancy Pelosi.
Oh gosh, let's talk about a term limit right there.
And if you go back in time, they did hold normal jobs while they held office.
Yeah.
They were still part of the community. They still could relate on that level.
Yeah, and I think it's important to have that kind of interaction with the community where you're still part of it and not controlling it. So that's really cool. Oh my gosh, this has been so much fun.
It's been so much fun. And can I add one more note to
Yeah,
that?
absolutely.
I don't know if it's going to be a solution, but it's definitely something to talk about. But you know, so say I'm running for mayor, right? Well, okay, I'm not taking donations from taxpayers, or I'm not doing any of that. I don't want to receive payment to run. So what am I going to do? I have 2 years to do it. I'm going to be smart about it. I believe that everybody needs to get involved in some sort of business, right? Before they run for any kind of political
100%.
office. So here's what I'm going to do. The new marketing that's going on, you know, MLMs, multi-level marketing, you know, create your multi-level marketing business in service to humanity. Have that funnel into your campaign over, you know, build it up, have the community respect you for what you're trying to do. You know, the people that you're reaching through your MLM, you know, at service to others and not to self, and keep that thing going. So by the time you reach your political level, if that's your path that you're on, then you're going to have your MLM running itself eventually. And then you don't have to worry about how you're going to make ends meet in this political position, because you've worked so hard to build a business to be out there with your community, to talk and heal others and understand everybody's traumas. And that's what politicians, they don't understand our traumas. Do you think they understand our traumas whatsoever? They never had one single trauma in their life, you know? So building respect for yourself, building a business for yourself, and having your abundance flow in before you reach your political status, that's what I would like to see in the new earth,
Yeah,
to be honest.
I think that's great.
I like that.
I like that a lot. And I think because your intention is already going into service for others and humanity and community, it's just naturally going to flow into all of your work that you're doing politically, which is great. So it's just a natural funnel system. And I just want to say, speaking of trauma, even though I think a lot of these politicians don't understand what we as on the normal day-to-day human goes through trauma-wise, I think they're about to get a really big lesson in trauma.
Oh, I like that, Nicole. Absolutely.
I really do. I really do. So I have another synchronicity here in Sedona that I want to share. Morgan, you want to come over here? So you guys know that I've got my alchemy program. I've got quite a few of you in there that I've been working with, and I get to finally meet one of my alchemy students.
Hello.
Guys, this is Morgan. You see her in the chat. She's really active in the chat.
I like it.
Yeah.
I love it. Your community is amazing. So
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how's it been for you through the whole like alchemy process, and what's been your biggest takeaway?
Have her step closer for the
Yeah,
mic.
come in
closer.
yeah.
Okay. For Alchemy the group.
Yeah, like just for your own
for-
journey, like how has that been for you?
for my own personal alchemical process. I guess the biggest thing has been that everyone has trauma, and kind of like all of us, everyone I'm surrounded by has something that they're dealing with. And it has been allowing myself to stop giving them giving them room to express their trauma, and giving myself room to express mine, or like to heal, because my life has been so centered around giving and giving to others and service to others, and not service to myself, which obviously service to others is great. I personally am having to learn how to stop giving so much.
Yeah, if you're not service to yourself,
Right.
Yeah.
then you're never service.
Right, like yeah, a big focus of mine my whole life has been let others express themselves how they want, and you need to shut up and you need to be quiet so that they can express themselves freely, and you need to do this for them or go to the grocery store for this person so that they don't have to make everything convenient for them even when you're struggling yourself. So a big thing for me has been
People pleasing.
yeah, not people pleasing anymore.
Ooh, and since you've joined the alchemy group, she had a really cool experience where you met some of your guides
Yes.
recently, like just in
Oh,
the last week,
Yes,
right?
and in my aura reading, he said there was a little white light, and that's a guide.
Oh.
So the guide was in my aura reading.
Oh wow! So it's
Yeah.
been really cool, and I guess you're a test. Oh, and you speak light language.
I do.
Do you want to do some light language?
No.
Come
Okay,
on.
so I don't want to put her on the spot, but
Yeah.
so in the alchemy group, we have a Discord chat, which Morgan has been so wonderful as to help me set up, because I'm a Gen Xer and I don't know anything about Discord. And so she helped me create all these different channels, and we created a light language voice channel in the alchemy group. And she has done light language transmissions for us where we all hop in and we listen, and it's been really cool to listen to it. We get to just talk and hold space, and we've got another person in the alchemy group who's also she speaks light language, and so
you.
well I've been speaking light language in my dreams lately, so I haven't done it actually in 3D yet.
Is that what I heard last night?
Stop. So yeah, so it's just, it's just been really cool for me to actually meet one of you guys in person.
Yeah.
Especially in my alchemy group, because I get to know you guys on a much more personal level. We get to interact, and I know it's going to be really cool for all of you in the group to see Morgan here.
I'm camera shy.
Yeah,
Can I
yeah,
leave?
you could leave. You could leave. You could go. So guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm going to be dropping another video tomorrow. I've been sitting on a Palladian transmission that I received a few days ago. Last Sunday, I was watching a movie and I had the Palladians come in with a very strong message that is very timely and needed at this time. When I was on the plane here to Arizona, they started dropping some more things about what they wanted me to talk about, so I started taking notes, and the next thing I know it's just this long ass transmission. So I'm going to be giving that to you guys tomorrow. So stay tuned for that live. And guys, I love you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I'll be back with you guys real soon.